Well, the first one he's going to tackle is the cosmological argument. Probably well known to us, the first cause, the first mover, the Kalam argument. This tends to be the tool belt very quickly for the classical apologist. And so he says that the first cause argument, also called the cosmological argument, says that everything must have a cause. Therefore, the universe had a cause, and that cause is God. God was the first or uncaused cause. So all things that exist, I'm putting his own spin on this, had a cause. The universe exists, therefore the universe had a cause. Who was that causer? It was God. And so now he's going to attack it. And so he's going to have a problem with this. Okay, so this leads us to a real logical bind, he says, for the theist, because everything must have had a cause, right? Everything. Then God must have had a cause. If God had a cause, then he was not the first or uncaused cause. If God did not have a cause, then not everything must have a cause. If not everything needs a cause, then perhaps the universe is one of those things which doesn't need a cause. So there's kind of two levels of argumentation here. So the first one being is that the idea that if all things had a cause that caused things, then God himself must be caused by something. You're going to want to stop. Right? You're going to want to throw your flag on the play and say, that's not the type of God that's existed within the confines of the historicity of the New Testament church, scripture, the Old Testament. So all those things.
But and again, this gets back to his definition of God, right?
Exactly.
This broad definition, then he can use this type of thing to help criticize the existence of God. But if you have a different definition of God, this argument doesn't work.
Right. And so, okay, then what about Zeus? Zeus doesn't fit this definition, but he has to argue against Zeus. So this cosmological argument doesn't fit either. Or it's not Zeus, it's his father. But regardless of the fact that there seems to be a movement here, which is arguing for a type of God that isn't believed, and we'd want us to stop this. And again, just imagine yourself in Bonson's position and seeing what his responses will be to these things. Okay, so what he summarizes here is that so if God can be a caused being that causes the universe, then maybe the universe is one of those things which also doesn't need cause as well. So he's saying essentially that if your God is also caused logically, if you want to take this form of argumentation, then the universe is caused. And if he's not caused, then maybe the universe is also uncaused. And so you've got yourself, he says, into a logic bind there, and that proof basically fails. As to shirk off this thing is completely finito and done with, even though we'd want to argue with a few of the premises.